Hi, I'm Amy Cervini.
I'm Hillary Gardner.
And I'm Melissa Stilianu.
And we are Duchess.
When we started singing together, we discovered that humor, collaboration, and yes, imperfection were essential ingredients for our signature style of harmony.
We're setting out to explore what harmony means to creative people from all walks of life, and to learn how they find joy and success in their chosen field.
Along the way, there's sure to be laughter, storytelling, and probably hijinks. That's just who we are.
Hello, everyone. We're here today in the very patterned and what are we going to call this?
It's visually noisy but delightful.
Yes.
It's like a Scandinavian acid trip.
I like it.
Exactly.
We are in the dressing room at Birdland in New York City, and we're here with Laila Biali, who is about to do a show, but she has agreed to have a quick chat with us before she gets on stage. Hi, Laila.
Hi, ladies.
How's it going?
I'm good. We flew in from Toronto today, and I can't tell you what number this is in the lineup, but we're doing 36 shows, and I'm a little...
How many days?
I'm a little tuckered out. You know, I think it started in mid-January and goes until the first week of April.
Whew,
so we have a few days off coming up next week, but it's been full on, like a day or two off at most.
And really traveling,
Wow,
not just
really
like...
traveling.
Yeah.
Not always the most sensical routing. Sometimes like from one coast to the other.
And then back.
And then back.
Oh, my.
Love it.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to tell the people a little bit about you. It's just a few little highlights that in case you don't know, Laila Biali. Laila is Canadian. She is a singer, a songwriter, a pianist, which we're going to talk about later because I have some questions. She has a brand new record out that is self-titled. 4 records in, 5 records in,
7 records.
Or 7.
Wait a second. But 2
I've
I just
hidden a
couldn't
couple.
find.
2 are buried.
Okay, buried
Yeah.
those. That's good. That's so really.
Yeah.
Let's say 5. Like
We can say 5.
people lie about their
Commercially,
age.
yeah.
We're going to talk about.
Commercially
it.
Very
available.
Prince of you.
Yeah.
They're in your vault.
Totally in my vault.
And you were nominated for a Juno. Which record was that for?
Tracing Light.
All right. So which is 3.
Oh, well, if we're using our current model.
Yes.
It would be,
2010 anyway. Yeah.
Number 2.
Right. Number 2.
Number 2. From Sea to Sky would be number 1.
Right.
Tracing Light would be number 2.
You recently moved back to Canada from Brooklyn.
I did.
Yeah.
We did.
Although you spend a lot of time here still. The other highlight, which we can't not talk about, is all the awesome side woman work that you have done. We're not going to go into it, but I just want everyone to know what a badass you are. Besides, like, in case there's those people like my dad who need other people's opinions in order to form their own. Sorry, Dad. Oh, he doesn't listen to this. It's cool. It's cool. So you have played with Chris Botti, Suzanne Vega, Paula Cole, and Sting. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Sting.
Hello, Sting.
Hello, Gordon.
Hello, Gordon Sumner.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So that's Laila.
In a nutshell.
In a very small nutshell of a nut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my first question is about the piano thing, because I was a pianist as a kid.
Yes.
And I also grew up in Toronto, but we did not know each other until you moved here, right? So did you go through the whole classical piano thingamajig with the conservatory and everything?
I did indeed. So I
Okay.
did the whole Royal Conservatory method. Started with the Leela Fletcher version method when I was 4, which was
4.
great. It was like cutting and pasting an art.
Yeah,
which,
right?
You know, that works for a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Plus, my piano teacher had the most spectacular porcelain doll collection, which, was a draw.
Mildly creepy also.
And
I
kind
don't
of
know.
now it's like Valley of the Dolls, but at the time I was like, of course I owned a few dolls, but nothing like that, and nothing porcelain, breakable, and so I really fell in love with the whole experience young, and segued from the Leela Fletcher method into the Royal Conservatory of Music officially. And really didn't encounter jazz until I was in my mid-late teen years. So kind of a late bloomer by today's standards, I would say.
I don't know. I guess everyone here came to jazz at different times and for different reasons too. But so did you do the whole conservatory? Did you get to the end?
I got to ARCT when I was 12, and then I but you and your bro.
But I was like 17, and that's more normal.
Yeah, but
12 is insane.
It was quick, but I never finished the ARCT.
Okay,
what's the ARCT?
It's like grades 10 or 11 and 12, I guess it would be.
Yeah, it's like a diploma.
Yeah, you get the numbered grades up to 10,
Yeah.
and then beyond that, it's called ARCT. And I couldn't, for the life of me, tell you what those letters stand for.
I would
Right?
be guessing, yeah.
Royal
Associateship.
Conservatory something probably.
Associateship,
is in there,
I think.
RSC. Associateship.
The Royal Conservatory. Ooh,
Whoop, little stumble there. Little stumble.
this is my daughter's favorite kind. We'll talk about that later. So when did you start singing, and how?
Oh, well, so my mom would use opera to wake us up on Sunday mornings to go to church.
Oh my God.
She would,
that got worse every word you said. Like,
opera, Sunday morning, church.
wow.
She would remember when CBC Radio 2 was pretty much exclusively a classical,
Yes, I do.
classical format?
Yeah.
So she would blast opera and, the expression, if you can't beat them, join them. So I would run up and down the stairs because I had way too much energy, just belting along with coloratura sopranos, Queen of the Night kind of thing. And so eventually I was put in choir at school, but nothing formal. And then, I took a couple lessons with this guy, Nikolai Kolesnikov.
Sounds very interesting.
It was very serious.
Very
he didn't
intense.
speak any English. He would just go, vo, vo, vo.
Oh my!
What does that mean?
No idea.
Okay.
To this day,
We didn't have the Google. Yeah, how would I spell that? VOH or something. But anyway, and I'll never forget his wife. I think her name was Olga, calling my mom and saying, this is going to sound a little braggy, but she was like, your daughter is going to be a star and she needs to, no spicy foods, no citrus. She was sort of giving my mom, just the rundown of how I should change my life at I think I was 15 or 16. And I was like, I'm out of here. I took 2 lessons and that was it for me. I didn't couldn't relate to the voing. And and I've always been kind of a terrible student. But kind of around the same time, I had in a car accident. So when I was 15, we were rear-ended on the highway. We used to take these trips all the time from Vancouver down to Seattle. And I remember my dad very quickly stopping on the highway suddenly. And we didn't hit the person in front of us, but then the person behind us rammed into us and hit us into the person in front of us.
Man.
Oh, man.
And I had terrible whiplash, and it started traveling down my arm. And I just had problems from then on with my shoulder and my arm. I think a lot of it was psychosomatic. And at the time, I had dreams of becoming a concert pianist, and those dreams were dashed. And again, it was sort of the convergence of various factors. So I, at the same time, enrolled in a new school, Handsworth Secondary School, where Rini Rosnes had gone to school a couple decades before me. And they had a really strong jazz program. So I showed up at the school. My arm was not fully functional. Had kind of, let go of the dream of becoming a concert pianist. And started playing a little bit of jazz, left arm, some percussion. And through this sort of new path, was given a scholarship to Humber College. Huh. We played at Music Fest. And to be completely honest, I think they needed more women in their program. There were 3 of us. So it was me, Brandy Disterheft, and a girl named Charlotte, who isn't really active as a musician anymore. And they were like, we'll take you however we can get you, because they saw, of course, that I was only playing with my left hand. And that was when I really got into singing, because I went as a singer my first year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there was this big gap between those funny lessons with Nikolai Kolesnikov and entering Humber College, which I felt like a fish out of water between jazz and voice, because, as much as I loved to sing, now that it was official, it felt a little bit strange to me, because piano was really my first instrument. Yeah, that was a lot.
No.
Very tangential.
Isn't Kalashnikov
Like
a rifle? Yeah.
I know, I'm probably saying it wrong.
No,
I
I'm
think
intrigued.
pretty sure it is
I like the
Kalashnikov.
metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always firing at me.
No?
Yeah, it was just in his mouth. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I had Russian piano teachers.
They're
I
intense and wonderful, so passionate.
I got fired.
You got
I
fired?
got
You
fired.
got fired?
Uh-huh. Yeah. She fired me.
Wow.
Yeah,
Too
we-
good
Was it
for her?
traumatic?
No, I was cool with it. I was all right with it. And then I got a new, awesome, great teacher
well,
who
then
let me
meant
play
to
Gershwin,
be.
so I was cool.
Oh.
Yay.
So the divide between classical and jazz is
But this was
an
like
odd
the
one.
3 preludes. This was still classical repertoire. It was in the syllabus, but
Yeah.
she never even thought about suggesting
Yeah.
anything that might be interesting to me. She just did what she wanted to do. That was her vibe.
Interesting.
So, yeah, we didn't get along so well. It's all right.
Well, good that she fired you then.
It is.
Yeah.
Look at me now.
Look at you now.
I'm in the dressing room at Birdland. So you have a new gig,
Yes.
which is you have plenty of new gigs. I feel
Yeah.
like your mom gig is not exactly
the mom
old.
gig.
That wasn't the one I was talking about, but that's a gig. I'm talking about the hostess.
Yeah.
Do you say hostess? Would you say that?
I
I,
think
would
we
just
can
say
say
host, right?
Host.
I think you could say host.
Of a radio show.
I never thought about it. But
Lila says host, so we
Yeah.
should go
I
with that,
defer
right?
to,
All right.
to
Host.
the MC.
So
Host works.
DJ?
Oh my gosh.
No.
Spinning jazz.
can you say that
Totally.
on your next show? I don't think we can get it here, but just say it when think of us.
I will. When we play one of your tunes because we love you.
So she is the host of Saturday Night Jazz on CBC Radio 2.
Yeah, which is now CBC Music.
It is.
CBC keeps rebranding itself,
Like Madonna.
which is like
That's what we-
Madonna. Totally. If you're going to take a leaf out of someone's book. So, yeah. So now CBC Music as of this January.
That's great.
Yeah. But we know it as Radio 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I left home such a long time ago. I don't even think there was no internet. I didn't. Yeah. But how's that?
It's great. This is going to sound a little cheesy, but I mean it. I think as performers, we feel like we're inviting somebody into our space. And as a radio host, I feel like listeners are inviting me into their spaces. Whether it's their earbuds or the car or kitchen or their home, work, wherever they may be. And it feels a little sacred to me. It feels like an honor and privilege, and one not to be taken lightly. So I'm thrilled. And my producer, this is supposed to be under wraps, but it's got unwrapped a long time ago. My producer, Lauren, another rock star woman, she chooses all the music. And so what that means is I actually get introduced to a lot of great Canadian jazz, global jazz, that I might not otherwise have discovered. So it's really fun. It's an amazing learning experience. And I love it.
Oh my gosh, I'm flashing back to when I was a kid, and my parents used CBC radio in a slightly different way. They didn't blare it to wake me up to go to church, but instead kind of put us to sleep with it late at night.
Man.
And
Sorry.
I know that's all right. It was great. I mean, as I recall, that was my first listening experience.
Exactly, me too.
Of like jazz and other music, and I
Yeah.
don't remember what program it was, but I just remember like the lights being dimmed and the actual
music.
radio with the tuner on it and the blue light of the thing that goes
How old are
side
you,
to side.
Melissa? I think you're actually flashing back to the 40s right now.
Guys, radios existed in the
It's
70s.
true. It's true. I just don't remember like a physical radio in my home, except for
With
my
the huge antenna.
yeah. Like I had
It was just I was
We had a
actually
boombox.
Yeah.
yeah,
doubled as radio.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that what
I
you
mean,
had?
it was like a whole stereo system
Yeah,
with
you
the,
could see the
Okay.
dial.
the radio
All
part
right, all right,
exactly.
all right.
It's
Some
not
lights.
that
It
old.
wasn't like the piece of furniture in the living
No,
room.
no,
Light. It was
no.
some other form of light.
It was I don't know what it
Analog
was.
light. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was I mean the thing had been purchased in the 70s. It wasn't an antique, but it was a very pleasant memory that I have of listening to CBC and jazz late at night. So now I can play you for my son.
That's so nice.
Except hopefully he'll be asleep because your show starts at 8, right?
8 to midnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if the lullabies don't work, then I'll put you on.
Well, it's funny because initially when I was hired to do it, it was supposed to be a 3-hour format. And then they were like, surprise, we're going to do a fourth hour. But the discussion was that the fourth hour would be a little bit left of center, but a little dreamier. And because it is at 11 p.m. to help people wind down and that sort of thing. But Bailey won't be up at 11 p.m.
God willing.
Yeah, God willing.
No.
Hence the Theo Bleckman at 11. I remember seeing that.
Totally.
That
That's
kind
the
of
Theo
vibe.
Yes.
Bleckman hour. You guys are solidly in the first 3 hours. All three of you. All three of you are in prime territory. But.
So today is Women's Day. Happy Women's Day, women.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy.
Nobody's wearing pink or red, but our
No.
tables.
I
Not
had some
visibly
red,
anyway.
but- Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not telling.
Did you guys forget that it was Women's Day until you started seeing all the posts go up and hashtags?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
never even knew Women's Day was a thing until very recently. Like,
Yeah.
And is it March 8th invariably, or does it change? I feel like it changes.
I don't have
I don't
answers.
know the answer to that.
Yeah, we did see a picture of us from exactly a year ago today celebrating Women's Day.
Well, there's
But I
a
don't know
clue.
how that, or if it works. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
like Thursday a year
Exactly,
ago.
like
I don't
the first
know.
Thursday of March or
Yeah,
something,
I'm not
or
sure.
whatever it would be.
I'm not sure what it is. But
It's International Women's History Month.
it is.
So,
That'll never change.
yeah.
So you are an extraordinary woman. So congratulations on everything that
That's
you are
very
doing
sweet.
and have been doing. It's pretty amazing.
Well, the feelings are more than mutual. I felt like a rock star that you guys asked me to do this. I've only been waiting a year. No, I'm joking. No, but really,
You've been on the
was
list
so
the whole
impressed
time.
with all three of you, musically, personally, as moms and band leaders and visionaries and creators. It's awesome. Trailblazers.
Fashionistas.
Fashionistas. Hi, fashionistas.
boy, if you folks out there could see us now. Lila looks great. She's
There
ready
are
to take the stage.
sequins in the room.
She has a metallic shoe. Oh, that's true.
They're
I have a
super
very,
Scotch
very
sequins.
cheap scarf with sequins on it.
Did you buy in the subway?
Hashtag very fancy lady. Yes, very fancy ladies.
So talk about some of those background gigs. We have time. Yeah, we have lots of time.
Yeah.
Because I think it's super awesome.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, that's when, I started getting the Facebook messages that were like, can you have coffee? And how did you get that gig?
yeah.
Because to be completely frank, and this is not me being, self-effacing, but I was living in New York at the time. And when I got the call, it was actually Lisa Fisher, speaking of extraordinary women,
Yeah.
who left me a message. And I didn't know who she was at the time. And she's a lioness on stage, but she's very calm, and you guys have to get her on your show.
Yes.
We will make that happen.
Okay.
But
Great.
oh yes. But anyway, there was a message from her. Hi Lila, it's Lisa Fisher. I'm finding people to audition for a project with Sting, and I started laughing. I thought maybe, like, is this a joke? What is this? and literally the day before, I was on the phone with my dad in Canada, working out how I would move back because life in New York was not really sustainable financially. And then I get this call, and I'm like, man, I mean, me and who am I up against? I'm not going to get chosen. So I'm on my way up to the gig, and I have no idea what we're going to be doing. Walk into the studio, and there's actually quite a few of us, and they're like pairing different configurations together. And we're reading music. At least that was to my advantage because I play piano and read. But it was like these sort of sacred songs. Some of them were in Latin. Anyway, fast forward, I ended up getting the gig, and I remember thinking I'm living in Brooklyn. There are probably 100 singers in like a 2-mile vicinity radius that are more qualified than I am. Really. And so I think it was the holistic thing, like that I did bring another level of musicianship. Not that, again, you guys are very, very smart singers, and I think it's kind of unfair that there's this bias against singers, female singers in particular, that, they don't play an instrument, they can't read music. And thank goodness for people like you who are breaking the stereotype. But in that case, I think it did serve me that I had the piano skills and the reading skills. And it was dreamy. We were whisked off to his villa in Tuscany.
Oh my God.
staying at his house. His dog Compass. We would take,
Oh my
trips
God,
around.
of course, that's the name
The name
of
of his
Sting's
Sting's
dog.
dog, Compass. Compass
Naturally.
darling. And I was so not cool. I actually recommended, you guys all know Jo Laurie. I recommended her for the audition, and she got chosen and has sung with Sting for many, many years. But anyway, we were there both working with him for the first time, and I was such a fangirl. I was like trying to, surreptitiously and not so surreptitiously get photos of him. And Joe was like elbowing me, like, stop it. Like, you gotta be cool. And I was like, Sting at dinner. Sting on, snap, snap. And she was like, Laila, some people are sensitive to technology at the table. I was not cool, and I didn't get the memo. I was just in full fan mode. He was like one of my bucket list artists. I couldn't believe that I was working. In fact, just to kind of, give you a little bit more of the story. In 2003, so 6 years prior, because it was August of 2009 when I got that call. Mm-hmm. I was dating a guy, and I was here in New York on a Canada Council grant.
Thank you, Canada.
And there was this guy who shall remain unnamed with me here in New York. And Nellie Mackay was on the cover. Is it Nellie McKay or Nellie Mackay?
Mackay.
Nellie Mackay was on the cover of Time Out magazine, and she was opening for Sting. Ooh. And I remember going, "Oh,
that's
strange
Isn't
and
that
lovely.
an interesting pairing?"
But her first record was a really big deal. I mean, I think all of her records are a big deal because she's great, but like that record was a big deal.
Right. It was. And she was a graduate of Manhattan School of Music, piano player, singer. And I said to my boyfriend, it would be my dream to work with Sting. And he laughed. He was like, you are ridiculous. Like, dream on, sister. So when I got the gig,
did you call him immediately?
Awesome.
You just texted a photo at Sting's table. The
photos were for him.
You know what I did? I wrote a little blog for the Huffington Post that kind of told the story. And, I didn't name him, and he may not have read it because he doesn't stalk me. But
that you know of.
That I know of, exactly. But it was good. It was pretty amazing to actually have that, like a dream, a bona fide dream, be realized.
That's amazing.
And he was awesome. He was such a gentleman, and we've remained in touch ever since. I've done just a smattering of things with him since. Yeah. Nothing, ongoing, but he's great. He's such an amazing musician. Sting, that is. Yeah.
That's what I hear. I've heard. I mean.
Have you met him?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No. Not even close. I was thinking I've been to shows and backstage and stuff, but I always am also like I will stand. Yeah,
it's one of my least favorite
really
environments. Actually,
backstage?
Is to be backstage. I mean, when you're there, like to see a friend or something, and there's, I don't know, this is very inside baseball, but like my husband does A&R and he's worked with some fancy people, and like I hate that feeling of like being backstage and he's doing the businessy fancy thing and I'm standing there and it's kind of
figuring out what to do with
awkward.
yourself.
It's not, all this to say, I get it. Like I get why being backstage to like say hi to your friend who's on the gig is not where you're like, hello.
Yeah, exactly. Like skulking in the shadows and, hey, I'm a big fan.
Exactly.
Yeah. I did that with Esperanza Spalding.
Like, who could blame you, though?
Right,
She's very fabulous.
Yeah, and I knew 3 of the people in the group, so that was like a high percentage. But
was that the concert we went to together in New Jersey? We had a road trip.
And there was oh my gosh, how could I forget?
Because we hardly knew each other. I don't even remember how that happened, but all of a sudden we were in a car going to New Jersey.
I had 2 comps, and somehow that is awesome. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
So we went on this journey. Did we do a zip car and everything? I think we did, or did
I
you
don't have a license, so it must have. It was on you.
Car, I think. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, and I remember feeling kind of a little silly, like I was in her space, and she was lovely. She was gracious,
totally lovely. Yeah.
Now that we have phones and like devices, I feel like it's a little easier to be kind of nondescript backstage. Like you can be in your device, but even that's a little awkward.
Yeah.
You know?
I just had an idea.
Yeah.
Guys, next time you're in that situation, just get a placard and like a popsicle stick and write your message to the person. Be like, hey, nice to see you. And then you can
skedaddle.
That's totally cool.
Right? It's like at the airport.
Get a t-shirt,
security.
a
placard. I always carry a placard in my purse.
I'll just have a sign like the limo driver, just Sting.
Yeah.
Just wait for him to approach me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it'll go. Okay.
That's a good idea. G. Sumner.
We did. You know what, guys? We did get, so one of the most amazing moments, another amazing moment was, So I got pregnant while I was working with him. So I know people are like, excuse me. And he used to love to say, because Ben, my husband, was not in the mix. And every now and then I'd bring him up and people would go, oh, who's Ben? And Sting would go, he's the father of my baby. And I'd be like, oh, bring in the tabloids. My career is shooting at stars. So, or, plummeting. And, but anyway, so fast forwards to when Josh was born in June of 2010, Sting was doing his Symphonicities tour.
Right.
And we were side stage in Toronto. And they had sent Josh a Sting onesie.
No.
And I was side stage with Josh. It was one of the hottest days of the year. I was pretending not to be schwitzing up a I was just sweating. And I was praying that he wouldn't cry because he was colicky, really colicky.
Oh, yeah.
I think the heat, poor kid was probably having heat stroke or something. But anyway, he didn't make a peep.
Wow.
And Sting kept coming side stage and rubbing his back and going, babies have the most wonderful energy. Yeah.
Wow.
Between songs in a couple of instances. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
That's really amazing.
Yeah. So he loves
I'd
the
like
kiddos.
to rub Sting's back.
I know. Sting has the most
wonderful
amazing
energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just gonna pop backstage and get a little
I'll
Sting energy.
I'll just crash a Sting show and wrap a chicken from the grocery store in a blanket and just be cradling it. Have you ever noticed how a chicken from the a whole chicken feels like a baby?
I've never
It feels
noticed
like a baby. It's it has bones and it moves. You know what
That would be better than the dolls they use.
Yeah, and and I'll just act natural and just wait for him.
Oh yeah,
to
and he'll come
over.
cradle the tush and no, he's so lovely and he's such a family man. I know he had his rock star reputation when he was with the police but he is a full-on family man. You can ask Joe. He's showing us pictures of his granddaughter Chloe when she came along and just so such a family guy, which I thought was really nice. It was a nice surprise.
That's so awesome. What a great congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Oh, well, thanks.
Really. It's I've been listening to your new record, which you guys should all go buy it. Everyone listening,
Go and buy it.
It's called Laila Biali.
Eponymous. That's the new
And what an
fancy word.
amazing
Yes.
cover.
Yeah.
It is so awesome.
It's real tape. I had a prop stylist. That cover was shot in Brooklyn, and my branding gal brought in a prop stylist who painstakingly cut up strips of black tape.
Wow.
And extended them from the chair I was sitting on. And someone at one point looked at the photos later and said, "Oh, look, you're surrounded by musical staves."
Oh, I didn't
It looks
think
like
of
musical
that.
staff.
Yeah.
I did not
Which
think
I
that.
didn't even think of. Nobody
Yeah.
thought of that. It's
Yeah.
just stripy madness. But
Yeah.
somebody did that. Somebody fastened those stripes.
Wow.
So that's real.
I thought it was graphic
Yeah,
design.
you think so, right? It's not.
I knew it was real.
Oh, you knew.
Yeah,
You knew the
I can
difference.
tell. My brother's a photographer, so I have an eye for that.
There
I'm
you
actually
go.
the band photographer.
I was going to say that's a
Kind
new
of.
look because usually
You do the
we're
selfies.
told that you're the aspiring photographer, right? Or
I'm the
what was
budding
budding
photographer.
the budding
photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the invocation of the brother is kind of a different direction.
Yeah.
All these layers to the expertise.
I know.
She's
And I'm
complicated
also
woman.
the props
Wow.
mistress. So
You
there's a
are.
couple.
That is
Yeah.
true.
So next time
Craft
you need
services.
a props stylist, just ask me. I have
She
plenty
is kind
of
of craft services.
She is.
I mean, it's,
If you need
definitely
chocolates,
haphazard,
almonds.
but she's like, hold on, here's what I have in my purse. And it's usually some pretty good eating.
some protein and some chocolate.
It's true.
Yeah. Usually.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's the joy of being in a band.
I
One of
want
the
to
many.
know how this works because you're like the Yaya sisterhood now, but it could have gone the other way. You know what I mean? A lot of estrogen,
Yeah.
which can be tricky. I mean, what am I saying? Oh my gosh, can we scratch that? We can't.
We can do
We have the power.
whatever we want.
It just sounded.
It tends
really,
to work for. I guess we must
But
have.
you know
We
what I
have
mean?
different
It's-
kinds
No,
of
no.
estrogen. Is that a thing?
It is. There are 3 kinds. I just
Really?
learned. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, cool. I didn't
Apparently
know
I'm
that.
producing the wrong kind, but yeah, that's too much information. We could just erase this whole segment right here. We'll just
If you
erase
eat some
the
dark
estrogen
chocolate,
segment.
maybe you'll get some of the right. I don't really know about that, but I know chocolate's good for you on some
Chocolate
level.
is good for you.
But this is so lovely. Yeah, you guys really, it's a vibe on and off stage.
I think we're. I think if you had 3 of the same kind of person, like with the same tendencies, and then it wouldn't work.
Oh,
as
God,
well.
no.
I think that we're pretty different.
Yin, yang, and yang.
Yeah, and young. And, yeah. I was about to go super dirty. I'm not going to do that. So I think that's why. right? Does that make sense?
Sure.
You know, that
I see
actually
it.
leads us into our question that we usually ask
Oh.
our guests.
Okay.
Which is something about harmony.
Well, the podcast is called Harmony and Hijinks. When we put together the sort of elevator pitch for the podcast, we talked about and thought about how different disparate ingredients come together in our group to form a harmonious whole. So we're curious about how that works for you, for the people that we talk to. Like, what has to be working in your life? For us, what do we say? Humor,
collaboration, and imperfection.
Yes.
Emphasis on the last
That's
one.
my strength.
I think we're all pretty
those,
strong.
adjectives, it can really be
descriptives.
anything. I mean, those are sort of ingredients that are essential to anything that we're doing, whether it's a podcast, whether we're performing, whether we're like divvying up businessy things. If those three elements are in place, everything else is going to kind of come together and probably work.
Okay.
So what does harmony mean for you? For someone, you wear a lot of different hats.
Now going back to that word.
Well,
like balance, harmony.
I mean, harmony is like this sort of metaphorical
In
idea
life,
about your life.
I think I like the idea of grabbing some descriptives. So I would say openness / malleability. That's like in live performance, in my work, in as a mom. But focus at the same time would be another word. So malleability, focus, and fun.
Are you ready, Laila?
I'm so ready.
It's time for the Duchess questionnaire.
I don't know what the questions are.
we can do roundy.
Yeah, we're going to roundy it.
Roundy.
Are they?
Here we go.
Is this improvised? Is this
No.
made up? No. Okay.
No.
Well,
Theoretically,
it's about to be.
no.
It's about to be made up.
Laila Biali, where were you born?
North Vancouver, Lionsgate Hospital.
Wow.
Where did you grow up? Also,
North Vancouver, base of Grouse Mountain.
I love this. Okay, next.
What makes you laugh?
Seinfeld?
Yes.
I'm just doing Seinfeld right now. But anyway, Seinfeld. That's my sort
What
of
makes
lame
you
answer.
cry?
Oh, well, this is a serious answer. Like loss of life. Yeah, like
Death.
Death.
Dying things make me cry.
Except apparently it also makes me laugh. If it's in the right context.
And that's,
when
we've
talking
summed
about
up
it, for example, the
mystery of life.
But yeah, and actually, frankly, someone else crying will trigger tears in me.
Oh, Jesus, the three of you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Couldn't handle me. I need to be on the periphery. Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm probably the worst.
I don't know. We could test it out later.
Competition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Put
We'll
on
have it.
Lorenzo's oil.
If we-
yeah,
no, or
it's
Daniel
check all the
Tiger,
boxes.
apparently.
Daniel Tiger makes us cry too.
Anyway.
Yeah. We discovered that. Yeah.
She made us cry.
We were
She made us cry.
doing the podcast and Melissa was interviewing Heather and all of a sudden I looked over and Melissa's like weeping. Oh my God, she's going to start now. And then Amy saw Melissa crying and then Amy started crying and I was sitting there like, what the hell is actually happening right
It
now?
was a very moving
You
moment.
do beat me. You do beat me. Oh my gosh! Now I want to know.
Anyway.
Intrigued.
It was after
It's a mom.
Mom Tiger gave birth to Margaret, and I just thought that the acting was so good, and so I just wanted to compliment her on it, and then I just relived all the, emotions.
That's very sweet.
Anyways, what's our next question?
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh gosh, naturopathy. Something in sciences and medicine.
That's not naturopathy.
I know. I know. I actually got a scholarship to UBC for sciences. My parents were like, and you're going to school for jazz. Excellent. But so I love sciences. But I would say that, yeah, homeopathic medicine. So
I'll come to you. I'll be your first patient.
So well.
Yeah.
What profession would you not like to attempt?
I wouldn't want to be, what do they call them? A sanatorial engineer. What do they call them?
My.
A garbage man?
Sanitation. A garbage
garbage
there's
person?
Like a fancy
Trash,
PC
right.
name.
Sanitation
I don't want to pick
worker.
up trash. I don't want to
Sanitation
clean up
merchant.
vomit unless it's in my own home, which happens.
Yeah.
And you know from whence it came.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't do something that had to do with sanitation.
Yeah.
I also couldn't be a nurse.
But waste management is
Waste
also
management.
code for mafia.
That's true.
What?
So that could be,
Oh.
well, it's always the euphemism. It's
Yeah.
like,
That's right.
hey, Tony Soprano, like, what do you do? He's like, I'm in waste management.
Yeah.
Right,
there's
right.
There's the code.
We're getting the hook, guys.
We are.
We
We're
are.
gonna- We have
We
one
have
last
one more
question.
question.
What song makes you dance?
Oh my gosh. Janelle Monáe. Dip on the tightrope. What's that song called?
I don't know.
Tightrope.
There you go.
And what's your favorite
Janelle?
place in the world?
It turned into a speed round.
Oh man, there's so many places. I love Santa Barbara for to get to the U.S. and I love Taos, New Mexico. But favorite place in the world? Ooh, oh man. I mean, European. Give me like any town, Europe, any village, Europe. You know what I mean? Something small in probably Western Europe. I don't offend anybody when I say
Latvia.
that.
Small shtetl in Latvia is perfect.
Shtetl in Latvia. That's very good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Laila Biali, thank you so much
You're
for
awesome.
taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
We can't wait to see your
Rock
show.
girl.
Yeah.
Woo.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Harmony and Hijinks. You can buy Laughing at Life wherever music is sold and through our website, duchesstrio.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Duchess Trio. And please subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcatcher. See you next time on Harmony and Hijinks.